12 years ago, I built Iron Gate Fight Promotions out of $40,000 I'd saved over a decade of evening work. In a provisional operating license, I filed myself at the State Athletic Commission on a Tuesday morning in October. My boy is asleep in the truck outside because I didn't have anyone to leave him with. The clerk stapled the papers without looking up. I drove home with the license on the passenger seat and Miles in the car seat behind me, telling him the whole story about what we just done even though he was 2 years old and had no idea what I was saying. He laughed at something. I took it as a sign. Her name was Claire. She didn't live to see the first card, but she knew what I was building, and she told me to build it right, and I did. 6 years, I ran the promotion myself, booked the fighters, hired the referees, handled every filing the commission sent. The early events were small, 400 seats in a converted livestock pavilion east of town, a PA system I rented by the evening, ring crew made up of 2 high school kids. I paid $30 apiece. But the fights were real, and the crowds were real, and word traveled. In bare-knuckle boxing, you can cut corners on the production and hide it. You cannot cut corners on the surface a man fights on, or on the officials who run the night, or on the matchmaking that puts 2 men together who both believe they can win. Those things I never cut. The first card ran on a Thursday evening in late October, with 412 people in the pavilion, some of them standing along the back wall, because I'd run out of folding chairs. Claire sat in the front row with a clipboard she'd turned into the night's official scorecard. I set up the ring myself that afternoon and sat alone in the empty hall for 10 minutes after, just to feel what it was, the quiet before a room fills. Then the fighters came in, and the crowd came after them, and the night ran clean from the first bout to the last. We paid the winners and drove home at midnight, Claire asleep in the passenger seat, Miles in the car seat behind us. I thought, we can build something real here. And we did. By the 4th year, we were selling 1,200 seats and turning people away at the door. Then Claire got sick, and I made a choice. I sold 75% of Iron Gate to an investment group out of Nashville. Enough for her care, enough to keep me close to home when home was where I was needed. She died in March, the year Miles turned 7. I came back to the arena the following fall because the arena was where I'd built something worth coming back to. I ran the ring setup. In bare-knuckle boxing, the canvas is everything. There are no ropes to catch a fall, only the floor and the man coming across it at you. I knew how to do it right. I showed up early, worked quietly, and the fighters who came through Iron Gate learned that the surface under them was always right. The investors cycled through management over the years. The last CEO they brought in was a woman named Sandra Voss, a restructuring specialist from Atlanta who arrived 8 months ago with a mandate to cut overhead. I watched her move through the building that first week like a person reading a balance sheet room by room. She came through during a pre-event walkthrough and glanced at my checklist without asking what it was. She looked at me. Canvas work jacket, gray at the temples, safety glasses on my forehead, and I could see something behind her eyes categorize me without a word being said. 3 weeks later, her operations director called. My contractor agreement wasn't being renewed. A production company from Louisville would handle all technical setup going forward. They were modernizing, he said. I thanked him and told him I'd leave my badge at the front desk in the morning. Miles was at the kitchen table when I came back from the call. He didn't look up from his homework. Everything okay, Dad? Everything's fine. I told him. I made dinner. We watched an inning of baseball before he fell asleep on the couch. I carried him to bed and sat in the kitchen a while after, looking at the commission's annual renewal notice on the counter, the one I'd filled out and sent back in August, same as every October for 12 years, the way you do things you've done so long they feel like breathing. I turned off the light and went to sleep. The call came at 2 in the afternoon on fight day. Miles and I were in the backyard. He'd been throwing a tennis ball at the garage door, counting how many times he could catch the rebound before it got past him. He had 11 in a row when my phone rang. The area code was the state capital. Mr. Dent, a measured, official voice. Catherine Brandt, State Athletic Commission. I'm calling about the operating license for Iron Gate Fight Promotions. Our records show you as the license holder of record, and we need a wet signature on the night of certification form by 6 p.m. for this evening's event to proceed. I've contacted the Iron Gate operations number, and no one there knows what I'm referring to. I check my watch. 2:14. Main card at 7:30. Who did they put you through to? A Mr. Tatum, operations director. He's been there 6 months, I said. The license was never transferred. It's a personal operating license, registered and renewed in my name every October since 2014. That's correct, Mr. Dent. Which means without your signature on the night of certification, the commission cannot issue the event permit and tonight's card cannot run. Understand, I said. Thank you for the call. Miles was still throwing the ball when I hung up, 12 catches, 13, and when he turned around, he read my face the way he always could. What is it? Nothing bad, I told him. Go wash up. We might take a drive in a little while. The second call came 11 minutes later. Not the commission. Mr. Dent. Sandra Voss. I need to speak with you directly about tonight. You can call me Frank, I said. A short pause. That caught her off balance. Frank, I've just spoken with the State Athletic Commission. I understand there's a licensing situation. No situation, I said. The license is current. It's just in my name. Yes. A longer pause. And I could hear the full shape of something she hadn't known existed until 20 minutes ago. I need to ask you to come in and sign the certification form so the card can proceed. I thought about that. I thought about the word modernizing. I thought about Miles at the kitchen table asking if everything was okay. Why don't you come here instead? I said. I'm on Creighton Road. We'll be home. She was there in 22 minutes. She came alone, which I hadn't expected. Black rental car, sharp jacket, heels on the gravel of my driveway. She was younger than I'd registered in the building, mid-40s, and something in her face was working hard to stay composed. Miles had stationed himself on the stairs. I told him to find something quiet, and he went 2 steps higher, which is his version of compliance when he wants to hear everything. She stepped inside, and her eyes moved across the front room in a way that felt like recalibration. The baseball glove on the hook by the door, the commission renewal notice on the counter, the old Iron Gate fight posters and frames along the stairwell wall. She stopped at the first one, the 2014 card, the logo I'd sketched on a napkin. In the frame beside it, a smaller photograph. Claire and I at the first event, ringside, both of us looking younger and tireder and more satisfied than I'd remembered until just then. You built this from the start, she said. My wife and I did, I said. She handled the business side. I handled the ring. She turned around. There was a different kind of attention in her face now, not the quick categorization I'd seen before. Something more careful. Mr. Dent, I owe you an apology. I'll let you go without understanding what you were to this company or what your connection to it actually was. I'm not asking for an apology, I said. But before I sign anything tonight, I want one thing in writing. Her phone was already in her hand. Name it. The license stays personal. It doesn't transfer to the company. Not while Miles is a minor. When he's 25, it's his decision what to do with it. Until then, the license stays with the Dent family. She held that for a long moment. I let her think through what it meant. For her investors, for the company she'd been sent here to straighten out, for a fight promotion whose operating permit would be tied to a man in a work jacket on Creighton Road. You could have made this very difficult tonight, she said. I know, I said. I'm not here to make it difficult. I'm here to make sure what I built has a name on it. She typed something on her phone and held it toward me. A message to her operations director. License holder is Frank Dent. Personal license. Not transferring. Document accordingly. He'll be at the arena by 5:30. That's the paper trail, she said. Formal amendment to the operating agreement by Monday. All right, I said. Let me get my jacket. From the stairs. Can I come? Miles was 4 steps up, arms folded on the railing, watching Sandra Voss with the calm assessment of a kid who has heard every word and already made up his mind about the room. Homework done? I asked. Almost. Get your jacket. We got to the arena 40 minutes before the Louisville production crew finished their setup. I could see in the first 60 seconds that the canvas in the near corner was laid too loose. A fighter coming off a clinch at speed would feel the surface shift underfoot. I fixed it without pointing it out to anyone. Calling attention to what you're correcting is less useful than just correcting it. Miles settled into the third row with a soda the concessions manager had opened early for him. Elbows on knees, the same posture Claire used to take at ringside. He'd watched me do this his whole life. As a toddler asleep in the folding chairs, as a small boy asking questions about every piece of equipment, now as an 11-year-old who already knew the answers and was watching to make sure I did it right. Sandra Voss stood near the back of the arena for a while. I paid her no particular attention. I had work to do. I signed a night of certification at 5:58. The commission's field representative had the look of a man who'd been holding his breath for 3 hours. He stamped the form, issued the permit, and the event was cleared with an hour and 20 minutes to spare. First fight at 7:30 on the dot. By the main event, the arena was full and then suddenly quiet, the way a crowd goes when it forgets it's supposed to be watching and starts feeling instead. 2 men on the canvas with nothing held in reserve. No careful distance management, no managed risk, just everything they had given honest and clean. The crowd went still in the final rounds and leaned forward, which is the highest compliment you can pay to men like that. Miles had his hands clasped on his knees and didn't look away. After the decision, Sandra Voss found us near the exit. Her operations director was with her. He started to say something, and she put a brief hand on his arm, and he stopped. "Thank you," she said to me. "Come find me before the next card." I told her, "I'll walk your crew through the setup. They missed some things tonight. Better to learn it right the first time." She looked at me for a moment. "You do that?" "It's my name on the license," I said. "I care how it runs." She nodded. Whatever she'd expected to find at my house on Creighton Road, I don't think it was what she found. That's all right. Most people don't know what a thing is worth until they come close to losing it. Miles was already holding the exit door open with his shoulder. I buttoned my jacket and walked out. The parking lot smelled like cold November and old concrete. Miles matched my pace across the gravel, hands in his pockets. "Dad?" "Yeah." He was quiet for 2 steps. "Before tonight, did they know that you built all of this?" He meant the investors, the operations staff, the woman in the sharp jacket. Every card, every ring surface, every pre-dawn checklist run in an empty arena before anyone else arrived. I thought about the Tuesday in October, 12 years back. The clerk who hadn't looked up, the $40,000, the license on the passenger seat, and my boy laughing in the car seat at something he had no way of understanding yet. "They do now," I said. He nodded once, the way he always did when things resolved the way they were supposed to. We got in the truck and drove home.